morning, sir. My name is Valanti from Accounting Class D. My ID is 1810426436. This is my answer from the two financial exam semester. Sitting here, I am invited by lecturer to answer his question given the question consists of three parts, namely question on part A, deal with the daily activities in classroom. Question on part B deal with the accounting theory, and question on part C deal with accounting article and accounting videos. I start to answer the question on part A. The first question is, do you always attend the lecture of English for accounting? If yes, how often do you attend the lecture of the English for accounting? And why must you attend the lecture, and what benefit have you got from attending the lecture of English for accounting? Well, my audience, my answer to the question on number 1 is here. Always attend English accounting course that is in the percents of a full without a single one not being followed. The reason I attend English is accounting, so I could take the financial exam and also what taught. Know the account names in English. The benefit that I can get in the learning English accounting. That is, I have been able to read in English well from before, have know the names of account. Well, that's all my answer to the question number 1. And then I protected to the question number 2. Do you do your structured assessment given? If yes, how many voice record have do you? Don't mention the title and explain them in short. Well, I'm audience. My answer the question of number 2 is here. Have done 35 structure assessment. Number 1, accounting. Accounting is the systematic and comprehensive recording of financial transaction pertaining to a business. Number 2, an article is a piece of writing that is published in a newspaper or magazine. Number 3, accounting cycle. The accounting cycle is a collective process of identifying, analyzing, and recording the accounting events of a company. Number 4, accounting is important for business as a way to document financial activity and learn from the numbers. Number 5, in financial accounting, an asset is any resource owned by the business, anything takeable or intakeable that can be owned or controlled to productive value, and that is held by my company to produce positive economic value and in an asset. Number 6, accounting basic. This explanation of accounting basic will introduce yours to some basic accounting principle, accounting concept, and accounting terminology. Number 7, a balance sheet is a financial statement that reports a company asset, liabilities, and shareholders' equity at a specific point in time, and provides a basic for computing rates of return and evaluating its capital structure. Number 8, the general purpose of the financial statement is to provide information about the result of operation, financial position, and cash flows of an organization. Number 9, a liability account that reports the estimated amount that a company will have to spend to repair or replace a product during its warranty period. Number 10, a business entity is an organization that uses economic resource or input to provide goods of or service to customer in exchange for money or other good and service. Number 11, financial accounting is the process of recording, summarizing, and reporting the merit of transaction resulting from the business operation over a period of time. Number 12, a mortgage payable is the liability of a property owner by to pay a loan that is structured by property from the perspective of the borrower to mortgage is considered a long-term liability. Number 13. Long-term liabilities definition. Obligation of the enterprise that are not payable within on year of the balance sheet date. To explain are both payable and long-term notice payable. Number 14. The world's most popular free online dictionary with definitions, speak checks, word organization, examples, tense, audio pronunciation, word of the day, and more. Number 15. Current liabilities are a company debt or obligation that are due within 1 year or within a normal operation cycle. Number 16. Rules of accounting that should be followed in preparation of all account and financial statement. Number 17. Warranty liability definition. A liability account that reports an estimated amount that a company will have to spend to repair or replace a product during its warranty period, and liability amount is recorded at the time is the sale. Number 18. Type and front of business. A business entity is an organization that uses economic resource or input to provide goods or service to customer and exchange for money or other good and service. Number 19. Business organization. An entity formed for the purpose of carrying on commercial enterprise. Since an organization is predicated on system of law governing contract and exchange property right in an incorporation. Number 20. A mortgage payable is the liability of a property owned to pay a loan that is sourced by property from the perspective of the borrower. The mortgage is considered a long-term liability. Number 21. Liability. A liability in general is an obligation to or something that you want somebody else. Number 22. Liability explained. Liabilities are a vital aspect for a company because they are used to financial operation and pay for late explanation. Number 23. In management accounting or managerial accounting, manage of use a provision of accounting information in order to better inform themselves before they discuss matter with their organization with aids their management and performance of control function. Number 24. Why accounting important? Business spend a great amount of time and money in recording their financial transaction. Accounting is extremely important for recording the financial transaction in a business. Number 25. Closing entry. A closing entry is a journal entry made at the end of accounting period that involves shifting data from temporary account on the income statement to permanent account on the balance sheet. Number 26. Capital market. Capital market are venues where saving and investment are channeled between the suppliers who have capital and those who are in need of capital. Number 27. Accountability is a noun that describes accepting responsibility and it can be personal or very public. Number 28. Liability. A liability in general is an obligation to or something that you own somebody else. Number 29. Accounting in financial management are related to the extent that accounting is an important input in financial decision making. Accounting involves into preparing and examining past financial record, whereas financial management involves into planning to activities is various financial objects. Number 30. Investor information. The investor relation section provided information to insurance and potential stockholders, securities analysis, and anyone who is interested in the financial and operating performance of the company. Number 31. The income summary account is a temporary account into which all income statement, revenue, and expenses accounts are transacted at the end of a accounting period. The net amount transacted into the income summary account equals the net profit or net loss that the business incurred during the period. Thus, shifting revenue of the income statement means debiting the revenue account for the total amount of revenue recorded in the period and crediting in the income summary account. Number 32. Accountant. An accountant is a professional who performs accounting functions such as audience or financial statement analysis. Accountant can either be employed with an accounting firm or a large company with an internal accounting department, or they can set up an individual parties. Number 33. Definition of long-term liability. A long-term liability is an obligation result from the previous event that is not due within 1 year of the date of the balance sheet or not due within the company operating cycle if it is longer than 1 year. Long-term liabilities are also known as non-insurance liabilities. Number 34. Insurance and long-term liabilities. Owning a business is not just about knowing how to market your goods for profit, but also knowing how to manage your finance. This means that whether do you like it or not, you need to know the term used in the finance world to be able to analyzing report and determine your business status. Number 35. Difference between the conflict aquifer in a aquifer below the land surface that is saturated with water. Less impermeable material are both above and below the aquifer, causing it to be under pressure, so that when the aquifer is penetrated by a well, the water will rise above the top of the aquifer. Well, that's all my answer to the question number 2. And then proceed to the question number 3. You have been asked to sing to song in group and video record your songs. Mention the title of your song, and explain that what the song tell you. Well, my audience, my answer to the question on number 3 is here. Song title I Wake Up, which is said from the lyric of the song is after waking up, washing your face, brush your teeth, combing your hair, eating breakfast, and going start to school, that the activity he always does everything morning. And song title Baby Shark. The meaning of Baby Shark song is telling about family, because the lyric mention family members like grandfather, grandmother, father, and mother. Well, that's all my answer to the question number 3, and then protected to the question number 4. Do you do videos recording in English for accounting? If yes, mention the title of the article and the videos you have do recorded, and explain in short every article of or video you have videos recorded. How many videos recording have you done? Why? Well, my audience, in my answer to the question on number 4 is here. I did video recording of counting English, totaling 35 in the first. General journal. A general journal is used to record any journal entries that cannot be processed in a more effective manner. For example, change writer, sales invoice, insured purchase invoices, requests, and other can be recorded in a computerized accounting system when the documents are processed. Number 2. Managerial accounting. Managerial accounting, also known as cost accounting, is the process of identifying, measuring, analyzing, interpreting, and communicating information to manage for the processing of an organization goals. Number 3. Information about the transaction and event of a business is captured and summarized into reports that are used by persons interested in the entity, but you do not realize the complexity of accomplishing this text. Number 4. Financial accounting. Consider the financial accounting is target toward a born base of the external use. None of from control the actual preparation of report or have access to underlying detail. Their ability to understand and have confidence in report is directly dependent upon standardization of the participles and particles. Practice that are used to preparation of report. Without such standardization, report of the relationship companies could be hard to understand and even hurt the company. Number 5. Managerial accounting. Managerial accounting information in inherited to serve the specific and various needs of management. Business managers are charged with business planning, controlling, and decision making. As such, they manage direction, spelling, report budgets, product consisting data, and other details that are generally not reported on an external basis. Future management mainly directed the parameters under which such information is to be accumulated and protected. Number 6. Accounting. Accounting is the systematic and comprehensive recording of financial transactions pertaining to a business. Number 7. An article is a piece of writing that is published in a newspaper or magazine. Number 8. Accounting cycle. The accounting cycle is a collective process of identifying, analyzing, and recording the accounting event of a company. Number 9. Accounting so important for business as a way to document financial activity and learn from the numbers. Number 10. In a financial accounting, an asset is any recorded resource owned by the business, anything table or intangible that can be owned by or controlled to produce value and that is held by a company to produce positive economic value is a asset. Number 11. Accounting basic. This explanation of accounting basic will introduce you to some basic accounting principles, accounting concept, and accounting terminology. Number 12. A business sheet, a balance sheet, is a financial statement that reports a company asset, liabilities, and shareholders' equity at the specific point in time and provides a basic for computing rates of return and evaluating its capital structure. Number 13. The general purpose of the financial statement is to provide information about the result of operation, financial position, and cash flow of an organization. Number 14. Financial accounting is the process of recording, summarizing, and reporting the main rate of transaction resulting from the business operation, often over a period of time. Number 15. A mortgage payable if a liability of a property owner to pay a loan that is searched by property from the Pacific of the borrower, the mortgage in consideration a long-term liability. Number 15. Insurance liability are a company's debt and obligation that are due within a year or within a normal operating cycle. Number 17. Rules of accounting that should be followed in a preparation of accounting and financial statement. Number 18. Warranty liability definition. A liability account that reports an assessment amount that a company will have to spend to repair or replace a product during its warranty period. The liability amount is recorded at the time of the sale. Number 19. Type and form of business. A business entity is an organization that uses economic resources or inputs to provide goods or service to customer in exchange for money or the goods and service. Number 18. Warranty liability definition. A liability account that reports an estimate amount that a company will have to spend to repair or replace a product during the warranty period. The liability amount and recorded at the time of the sale. Number 19. Types of and from business. A business is entity and organization use economic resource to or input providence good or service customer exchange for money, order, and service. The number 20, business organization. The anything custom for the purpose of carrying on commercial enterprises. An organization is predicted sums for fellow governing contract and exchange profit and incorporation. Number 21. A mortgage payable in a liability of property 1. The pay loan, the security payable and possessive of the borrow, the mortgage loan and liability. Number 26. Closing entry. A closing entry is a journal entry made at the end of accounting period and involves shifting data from temporary account on the income statement to permanent account on the balance sheet. 27. Number 27. Capital market. Capital market is a venue where safe investors are canal between supplies or capital choose the net of the capital. 28. Accountability is an unknown that describes accepting responsibility and it can be personal or very public. Number 29. Liability. A liability in general is an obligation to or something that you have somebody else. Number 30 is here song title I Wake Up, which is said from the lyric, and the song is after waking up, washing your face, brush your teeth, comb your hair, eating breakfast and going start to school. That the activity he always does very morning. Number 31 song title is a Baby Shark. Number 32 accounting equation. The accounting equation is considered to be the foundation of the double entry account system. The accounting equation shows on a company balance sheet variability the total of a company's asset equal the sum of the company's liabilities and shareholders' equity. Number 33 accountability. The obligation of an individual or organization to account for its activities, accept responsibility for them, and the result in a transparent manner. Number 34 accounting worksheet. And number 35 the history of accounting or contracting is the thousand of year old and can be traced to a certain civilization. Well, that's all my answer to the question number 4. And then protected the question number 5 mention and explain the material you have studied from the your lecture and benefit have you get from the material you have studied. Well, my audience, my answer to the question on number 5 is here material that I give gotten from learning in class is about accounting. Accounting is a systematic and comprehensive recording of the financial transaction pertaining to a business. A general journal is used to record it uniquely. The journal entries that cannot be processed in a more effective manner. For example, checks, write, sales, invoice, use, purchase, invoice, request, and order can be recorded in a computerized accounting system. Then the documents are processed. Well, now I answer the question on part B. The question on part B, the question deals with the accounting theory. Well, that's all my answer the question number 1. Open this link and you must give the reasons when you answer the question you met in this link. My audience, my answer the question in number 1 is here. Number 1, the owner invests personality money in the business. Increase in asset accountability does not have an effect increase in owner's equity because there is a investment and increase the asset and capital. Number 2, the company requests cash from a bank loan. Asset increase, liabilities no affect, and owner's equity increase. Number 3, which of the following which cause owner's equity to increase? Cost attack owner's income, which can make owner's equity increase in income. Well, that's all my answer to question number 2. Problem 5. Business transaction following is a list of common transaction. Well, my audience, my answer the question on number 2 is here. 1. Receive cash from common stock in a crash in a asset and an increase in owner's equity. 2. Purchase supplies for cash. A decrease in an asset and a decrease in owner's equity. 3. Purchase equipment in a account. A decrease in a asset and a decrease in owners in equity. 4. Billed customers for service on amount. In increase in asset and increase in owner's equity. 5. Paid creditor on account. A decrease in a asset and a decrease in a liability. 6. Request cash from the customer billed in account. An increase in a asset and an increase in owner's equity. 7. Paid rents for the month. A decrease in a asset and decrease in owner's equity. 8. Request payment for service from cash customer. In the an increase in asset and increase in owner's equity. 9. Paying cash dividends. A decrease in asset and a decrease in owner equity. Well, my audience, my answer to the question on number 3 is here. Problem 6. Debit and credit following as a least common accounting transaction. A. Issues of common stock to shareholders for cash. Cash in debit and capital are credit. The reason is because asset increase and capital also increase. B. Payment of rent for the current month. The burden of rent on the debit and cash on credit. The reason is C. Purchase or supplies on amount. Appliance on debit and cash in credit. The reason is because the equipment increase while the asset decrease. D. Payment to a creditor and account. The burden on the debit and cash on the credit. The reason is because the asset and decrease. D. Payment to a creditor and account. The burden on the debit and cash on the credit. The reason is because the assets are reduced. A. Face earns net the bill to customers. Cash on debit and income on credit. The reason is because asset increase. H. Receive of cash from the customer previously believed on account cash and debit in income on credit. The reason is because the property changed. G. Payment of cash dividend to stockholders. The burden on the debit and cash on the credit. The reason is because H. Payment for a 3 years includes policy. The expenses of the policy on the debit and cash on the credit, including because the burden increase and the asset decrease, include the utility expense. I. Incur utility expenses. The burn on the debit and cash on the credit. The reason is because the burden increase. J. Receipt of cash or for service to be provided in the future, cash on debit and income on credit. The reason is because asset and increase. Well, my audience, my answer to the question on number 3 is here. That's all my answer to the question on part B, and I protected to the question on part C. The question on the part C deal with the article and videos. I start to answer the question on part C. The first question is please read the accounting book that has been given by your lecture. Mention the title of the book, a book, and who writes the a book. How many pages does a book have? How many chapters does the e-book have? And what does each capital tell you? Well, my audience, my answer to the question on number 1 is here. The title of this book is about posting journal entries to the General Journal account. This book has 29 pages. The General Journal is a permanent recording organization by account number. The posting is the process of transferring information for the journal to individual account in the ledger, and trial balance is a proof that total debit equal total credit. In the ledger, accounts used by a business are kept on the spirit page or cash in a book or file challenge a ledger. It is important for a number of reasons. This change record of the impact of business transaction on each account used by a business. It also helps manager LC find the current balance of a specific account. Well, that's all my answer to the question number 1. And then protected to the question number 2. You can get the article on the WA group, and you must explain content of the article in your own English word. Well, my audience, my answer the question on number 2 is here. The importance of protecting informants, plan individual creatures and nature or association, plan requisite decisions domain for developing customers need plans to eat, and human need everything to survive. Everything when as regular until the human who fasting it. Nobody of living dead on the earth who can crossing in which the explanation exception of the human. Globalization might ask of now be well known to you. Globalization can quicken the rate of economy any place. Innovation created together the years turn into an apparatus that can without much of stage human words. Indeed, even to bolster in numerous new affections are confidence to intense PC element stability, the velocity of assurance mechanical change not to after by using concessions of encompassing interference. Menstrual oil penetrating both on the human fetus is expanding along seniors, expanding human population from year to year. At long last, the waste delivered from the financial get to be one the fundamental variables dirty air around us, a ton of natural harm that we regularly listen for intakes a worldwide temperature alternation, controversive downpour, nutritive impacts, ecological contamination, etc. Well, that's all my answer the question number 2. And then protected to the question number 3. What are the title of the videos about? Who are the speaker in the videos above? What do the speakers discuss in the videos above? Explain content in the videos. Well, my audience, my answer the question on number 3 is link number 1 videos title about accounting basic. The speaker is Lestuts Accountancy. Accounting basic. This explanation of accounting basic will introduce you to some basic accounting principles, accounting concept, and accounting terminology. Once you become familiar with some of these terms and concepts, you will feel comfortable navigation through the explanation, quizzes, puzzles, and other features of accountingcoach.com. Link video number 2. Video title about real personal nominal account and golden rules of accounting. The speaker is ACCBSE. Consumers. Accounting is a process of recording, classifying, and summarizing financial transactions in a significant manner and interpreting results. Thereof, accounting is both science and art. For every type of entity, whether it is large in a size or small in size, it is very important to have a proper system of accounting for proper management of an entity business operation. An accountant must have a good understanding of the terms used, the accounting and types of account. An account the systematic presentation of all the transactions related to a particular health. An account shows the summarizing record of transactions related to a corner person of thing. Thank you, sir.